Tough series against the Boston Red Sox. Not a lot of offense to speak of, but the Royals have a chance to bounce back this at the beginning of this week against the Houston Astros. We'll talk about all that right now live on One Royal Way. We're back at it here on Kansas City Sports Network. I'm Joel Penfield. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching this live on YouTube. If you are here with me, if you are listening on the audio side, make sure you are subscribed, liking all of these, videos, podcasts, rate, review, subscribe, all of those good things, and turn on those notification bells on all platforms so you know when these episodes go up or when we go live, like we are right now on Sunday night, recapping the series against the Boston Red Sox. Royals lose 2 of 3 in that series. They won on Friday in kind of dramatic fashion, and then they lose the next 2 on Saturday and Sunday. We'll talk about all 3 of those games individually and do a quick preview of the series coming up against the Houston Astros. Before we do all that, this show, as always, brought to you by Emprise Bank, member FDIC, our partners in Possible here at Kansas City Sports Network. We can't thank them enough for their support of everything we do, KCSN and this show. I do have a little bit of Holiday Distillery soft red wheat here with me to start out the show. And before we get into the show too far, I'm going to do a little early toast game to all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day, and hope everyone was able to spend some time with the women in their lives, the mothers in their lives, and celebrate them accordingly. I know we did that today. So hope everyone had a fantastic day. We'll go ahead and get the positives out of the way here for the Royals. The game on Friday, they win 2-1 in 12 innings. A well-pitched game across the board for both teams, pretty much. I mean, neither offense really had anything going. There wasn't a lot of threats. It was a situation where coming into the game, I didn't know what to expect. Michael Lorenzen was coming off of a start where he got whacked around, gave up 4 homers, and really, really struggled mightily throughout that game. But he pitched incredibly well. Gets into the 7 innings shutout ball, third consecutive start of 7 innings shutout between Waka, Bubic, and Lorenzen. He got a bunch of swing and miss in this game, which really hasn't been something he's done a lot of. He's been it's a lot of pitch to contact. There isn't a lot of, he's not going to blow you away with a lot of stuff, but pitches effectively around some, lack of swing and miss. But that day on Friday, he had 17 whiffs. 11 of them were on his changeup. He had that thing going all day. A lot of very fastball changeup, heavy arsenal for him in this one, and was super effective. Really didn't get into a lot of trouble. The walks have been something that have kind of bit him at times this year. No walks, 7 strikeouts, only scattered 3 hits. So really nothing to speak of. Season ERA is down to 3.57. For my money, he's the best number 5 starter in the league. He has been incredibly impressive since coming over to Kansas City. This is a pretty big sample now. We got a sample of 74 innings, which I understand is not a ton, but we have half of last year and then the first 2 months of this season. And he has a 2.80 ERA. It's the best stop at any point in his career. This is not only a testament to J.J. Piccolo for identifying a guy that they could bring in last year to help supplement the rotation, supplement the bullpen, and then they're able to bring him back on a 1-year deal that's pretty cheap with a mutual option for next year. And I wouldn't be shocked if that gets picked up. Clearly, there is some sort of mind meld that has happened between Brian Sweeney, Zach Bove, and Michael Lorenzen. He's throwing some of the best we've seen from him in his career this year. They've altered his pitch usage quite a bit, both from an arsenal perspective and how that arsenal is utilized. We talked about that in the past, and it has continued to pay dividends, and it has continued to impress me. And I've talked about before, I don't have a ton of high expectations for my 5 starter. I just want them to get through the lineup twice and not get blown up. And he's exceeded that pretty much every start this year outside of the one against the Orioles where he gives up the 4 homers. But then the Royals were still in that game because they kept hitting solo shots themselves. So it was an incredibly impressive start against a really good Boston lineup. I know that they've kind of underachieved to this point, but it's hard to complain or be upset, that he's getting out. Like Jarren Duran 0 for 5 in this game. Rafael Devers 1 for 5 or 1 for 5. He had the lone RBI. Alex Bregman 1 for 4 with a strike. All of those guys had a strikeout. Trevor Story was 0 for 5. Wilyer Abreu, who's had a great start to the year, was 0 for 5 in this game. The pitching staff as a whole was fantastic. And I also do need to give credit on the other side too, to Hunter Dobbins, a guy that I didn't know much about coming into the year, coming into the game. It was a name that I was very unfamiliar with. He's a rookie out of Texas Tech. Flash fastball up to 97. It's like a four seam, but it's almost a cutter. But he gets a ton of induced vertical break on it. 19 inches of induced vertical break at 97. That's really hard to hit. When he spins it very effectively as well. Had the slider going off of it, and there's just not a lot of tape on the guy. So it's, hard to game plan those types of things. And he pitched well. And it wasn't like the Royals were knocking him around and not cashing in. Like there wasn't really a lot to speak of in this game, hits wise for this team. Massey got a couple of hits, but that was about it. This came down to who was going to blink first, and it ended up being the Red Sox, but it wasn't until the 11th inning. Rafael Devers hits basically an infield single that the Royals weren't able to turn, and run scores in the 11th on the Manfred runner. And it's like, okay, how are they going to bounce back? And Bobby was the runner on second in the 10th. Vinny comes up, and first pitch is, I think I might have it a little bit incorrect here. Let me make sure that I have the proper sequencing because I'm thinking of it on it here. 11th. Here we go. My apologies. So what it was, Bobby was up. Drew Waters was at second. That's how it was. Wild pitch. Guy gets the third. Bobby gets intentionally walked after that. Vinny comes up, does what he's done all year. Being a guy that was going to drive in runners, and what he has continued to mean for this team. And he is sneaky. He's starting to get hot a little bit. A one hit in this game, but he had a multi-hit game before. He's getting rolling. But they end up tying it, nothing doing. Get to the 12th. Big, huge spot for Daniel Lynch and Steven Cruz. They come up huge. Steven Cruz strikes out Abraham Toro to end the 12th and comes up. This is where the bottom of your roster comes through. And there have been so many defensive changes. The Royals emptied the bench. You got Michael Massey on second base. Kevin Biggio's up, who had pinch hit for Mark Canha, I believe, earlier in the game. How did that? Yeah, it was Mark Canha. And he's facing Sean Newcomb. So it's a lefty, and he's trying to get a bunt down. And Newcomb throws an arm side run fastball that's basically going at Biggio's face as he's squared to bunt. He gets the label on it. Do a job, sack bunt after nearly getting his nose broken. If that thing missed his bat by about a quarter of an inch, and then Freddie Fermin comes up and wins the game for you. And it's very clear how much this city loves this guy, Freddie Fermin, how much this team loves him. A guy that has gone from is he ever going to make the big leagues as like a guy in his mid to late 20s to now. I mean, you have to have him in the lineup 5 days a week. He does have a penchant for coming up in these spots and having some of these moments. And the crowd's chanting Freddie, after he gets this win. It was a huge, gutsy win. It all around, you're going to have to win games like this. And the Royals are going to be able to keep themselves in a lot of these games and win these types of games because of how good this pitching staff was. And they, on the whole, were great. 12 innings in this game, only give up 6 hits. The one earned run was the Manfred runner, no walks, and 10 strikeouts. An unbelievable performance. And from your biggest relievers, ERA for relievers can be super tricky because one bad outing can inflate it for the whole year. But John Schreiber, 1.69. Lucas Erceg, 0.54. Carlos Estevez, 2.5. Daniel Lynch, 0.96. And then still zeros across the board for Steven Cruz. So your best guys went out there and they got the job done for you. That was the type of performance that this team needed pretty badly. Got two more games to talk about here. I didn't expect to go 10 minutes on just the game on Friday, but here we are. You guys know how I can ramble pretty significantly. But I'll talk about the games on Saturday and Sunday here right after this.
Shop Chiefs tickets and more with no fees. Plus, save big with code KCSN at ticketsforless.com, the official ticket provider of KC Sports Network.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's playoff time, and if you're still just watching games, then you're missing out. With Pick 6 from DraftKings, you can turn your hoops knowledge into real cash. Just make your picks, track your score, and if you hit all 6, you're looking at bigger payouts than Prize Picks flex plays. Nobody's dropping better payouts than Pick 6. Hit 6 picks, and that's 25 times your cash. And if you beat your competitor, you could be looking at a 500 times bag in your pocket. And right now, new customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. The playoffs are on, so why not take a shot at making a little money while you're watching? Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks. Better payouts, bigger wins, only on Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Sure to hit that like button and subscribe button on all platforms. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on this Sunday night. Live on YouTube if you're here. And we will be live on Tuesday night as well we will not be live. We'll be live on Thursday, which I believe was an off day for the first time in quite a while. But be sure to look out for the episode on Wednesday night. I'll record at the conclusion of Royals-Astros and talk about the first two games of that series. All right, let's get into the two games that were not so pretty. Royals lose on Saturday, 10-1. Did not expect that one. That one got out of hand pretty significantly. I thought it was going to be really low scoring. It was Garrett Crochet. It was Cole Reagans. And it looked like we were heading that way early. Both guys were really on it. They each gave up a run in the third. It was on a Rafael Devers double, and Rafael Devers went 4 for 4 with a walk and 3 RBIs yesterday. For a guy that is apparently very unhappy, disgruntled, and pissed off, he was pretty good yesterday. The top of the lineup that didn't do anything on Friday killed the Royals. Two RBIs for Duran, 2 hits and an RBI for Duran, 2 hits for Alex Bregman. And the Royals really didn't do anything. They had their chances. It wasn't like they didn't. Mark Canha, the only run comes off of Mark Canha bloop single that Christian Campbell nearly made a great play on. But that was pretty much it. And the Royals had their chances. It wasn't like they weren't out of it by any stretch. And I'll go through those and I'll talk about Cole. Just if you look in the first inning, Bobby doubles, Salvi singles. So you got first and third with 1 out. Canha strikes out. Michael Garcia strikes out. You come up later in that game. I think it was I'm scrolling through here. It was 7th inning. The game's a little bit out of hand at this point, but you feel like you got a chance to come back. Vinny single, Renfroe single, and then it's Bobby Wood Jr. up with 2 outs. Garrett Crochet was up over 100 pitches. He was kind of at the end of his line, but they left him out there to face Bobby. Bobby struck out. And it was, again, that was an opportunity it probably wouldn't have made that much of a difference, but it could have made it, you get a little bit of momentum back. Maybe it's 7-3 going into the 8th. You got a little something going with the middle of the order coming up again. But not the case. Boston tacks on a couple more against Zerpa and Chris Stratton, and that's it. They had another chance in the 8th to at least try and make it a little bit closer. But Renfroe gets called out on strikes. And I believe, if I'm looking at this one, it was a slider in the other batter's box that Ron Coppola decided he needed to get out of Dodge. And then that was it. I mean, it was a pretty poor offensive performance. And yes, it's unfortunate. Yes, it's frustrating. You're also going up against a guy that is going to be in the running with Tarek Skubal for the Cy Young. Like, Garrett Crochet is one of the toughest lefties in the league. He showed why yesterday. 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, and that 1 walk was the second to last batter that he faced. Only the 1 run, scattered 7 hits, but it didn't matter. They didn't get anything across. In this game, the Royals were 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position, left 9 on base. You're not going to win games that way. And you could even look back to the game on Friday. They were 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position, left 9 on, but left 11 on. I mean, that's what? 4 for 23, and you leave 20 on. That's pretty poor. I mean, you're not going to win games that way. And this is all like the Royals are still 16-4 in their last 20, so it's all relative, but it's not sustainable if this is the way they're going to continue to play. They took advantage of their schedule, winning a lot of those games, but it's just not going to last long if this is the way that it's going to continue to go. We'll see if they're able to, get it right at some point or make some moves to get it right. To get to Cole Reagans in this one, he had it going early. Felt like he was in a pretty good spot. The fastball was playing pretty well. A lot of curveballs today. He's only a fastball changeup. A lot of curveballs in this one. He had the changeup working in a few spots, but just a few pitches really got away from him in this game and was ultimately the difference. Like, yeah, Rafael Devers is going to get you. Like, even lefty. Like, he's an incredible hitter. But it was the walk what changed the game entirely. With 2 outs, you walk. Let me make sure that was 2 outs as I'm thinking about it. I don't have my box score in front of me, unfortunately. It was 1 out. My apologies. It was to Carlos Narvaez, the rookie catcher. He had him 0-2, and to Narvaez's credit, he works the count back, gets it to 3-2, and he throws a curveball down and in, but he spiked it. Ball 4. Ceddanne Rafaela comes up and doubles. You got second and third for Jarren Duran, and he hits a single. Devers hits a single, and Bregman hits a single. Back to back. 2, 3, 4. The guys that you can't let beat you, but they obviously did. He gets out of the inning after that. He gets Campbell, gets Story, but the damage was done. And with the way Crochet was pitching, felt like that's completely where the game flipped. Just was not real sharp in that inning. The first 4 felt like he was going to be able to match Crochet pitch for pitch, but that 5th inning get away is part of it. And Cole talked about coming into the year how he needs to go deeper into games. He needs to be a guy that can be depended on to be truly like an ace and be a guy that can go, give you 7 a night, just like a Crochet, a Skubal, a Skeens, or whoever you want to go to pick a top flight pitcher in the league. He has the talent to be that. But this is what we're looking at game log wise for Reagans to this point. 5 innings, 6 innings, 7 2/3 against Cleveland. It was probably the best start he's had. Then only 4 where he got knocked around against the Tigers, 3 in the start against the Rockies where he gets hurt. So I kind of scrapped that one a little bit just because he left that game injured. But then even against the White Sox last week, he only goes 5. And then he only goes 5 in this one. It's 40 2/3 in 8 starts. You need more from him. And he is still like the strikeout numbers 65 strikeouts and 40 2/3 is insane, but you need more innings out of your top starter. And what does help, Cole, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, that Waka has had a penchant for getting deep into games recently. So is Chris Boober, so is Seth Lugo. And you know that Lorenzen's going to give you at least 5 2/3 at, the least over his last handful of starts. So there's still some margin for error. Cole can get you through 5, and maybe that's what he is. Maybe he is like a Blake Snell type that's going to get you through 5. He's going to strike out 10, give up 1 or 2, and then it's turn it over to the bullpen. Maybe that's who he is. I guess we'll have to see, but that's what he has been to this point. And you can be successful that way, but it's not true number 1 ace type of Joe, which I still believe he is that guy. But from what we've seen this year, we need to see more. And he has been great, but there needs to be more. I think that's just the way the expectations have raised. Other than that, I don't want to hammer the point, man. But Angel Zerpa it's just not working. The ERA is now 7.2. He gave up a couple homers. Really inconsistent. In the zone, out of the zone. I don't know what they're gonna do. He still has an option. We probably have to utilize that. Let me verify. I'm pretty sure he does have one option left, but I want to make sure that I have the correct information for you guys here. Sometimes I just say stuff, as you guys know, and then I realize later that was not the way that needed to be. Yeah, he still has one option left. I think you have to utilize it just to give a reset. Get Evan Sisk back up here, something along that line, and because it's pretty clear right now it ain't working. You got to get better options here, because it can't be Ursig, Estevez, Lynch every night. Schreiber, you're going to need innings from everybody. They kind of have the defined role for Chris Stratton, so I'm kind of leaving him out of this. But everybody else, man, you got to figure something out, and it's not getting better for Angel Zerpa at this point. And just throwing him back out there feels like last year, where it's like, what is this solving at this point? I don't want to hammer that point too long, but it is what it is here. Moving on to the game today. Royals lose 3-1. They got one early. Felt like they should have gotten more. Lucas Giolito pitched pretty well in this one. 6 2/3, only the 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. He's only thrown like 15 innings in the past couple of years. There's not a lot to game plan off him because he's been out of the game for so long, but it's not an excuse. You still got to be better. And this is another game. For 5 runners to scoring position, you left 5 on. So you do the math. What is that? 4 for 28. You leave 25 on in a 3-game set. It's not enough. I know it's kind of like nitpicking or whatever because they've been so hot lately, but these are the teams you're going to be competing with for wild card position. These are the teams you're going to be, down the stretch. Like, these are the teams you're going to be competing with if you do make it to the playoffs. Are you able to measure up? Are you able to not have these types of performances consistently? We haven't seen a lot of that. They have to be better. I hope that the flight to Houston, they're able to figure something out, and they had some success against Houston the other day, a couple weeks ago, and maybe they're able to go, and it's a bandbox out to left. Maybe they're able to hit some cheap homers, and some of this is solved. I guess we'll see, but a really tough one today. And I mean, your top 3 went 0 for 12. I mean, India's 0 for 4. Bobby's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. He struck out in 5 consecutive at bats. I mean, just a weird stretch from him. And I'm not raising any alarm bells, but just it's one of those things that, like, when that guy is struggling and over a game and a half, again, it's all relative, but it's just bizarre. It's just not something you see very often from him. We'll see if they're able to get things rolling a little bit. Lugo was fine today. 6 innings, 5 strikeouts, no walks, 3 earned. Both of those coming off of home runs. A solo home run by Wilyer Abreu, 2-run shot by Devers, and that was it. We'll see what they're able to do. And bounce back against Houston. Let's get those probables here for you guys before we get out of here. I appreciate everyone hanging out here. There just wasn't a lot to speak of other than that, on this game, just a pretty poor performance overall from the offense, but we'll see what they're able to get. Waka is going to go on Monday. It's a 7:10 first pitch against Ryan Gusto. Again, unfortunately, not a name that I am that familiar with. 26 years old, 2.93 ERA, 29 strikeouts, and 27 2/3 so far. Then it'll be Bubic versus Framber Valdez on Tuesday night. And that's going to be a 7:10 first pitch. And then it is going to be another 7:10. So 3 straight night games in Houston. Michael Lorenzen going on Wednesday, still to be determined. I saw a report that Houston might be going to a 6-man rotation and kind of skipping a start a little bit. I think Hunter Brown is normally in that spot, but they might be saving him because they have a divisional series coming up over the weekend. I believe they're playing Texas, so they're trying to save him there. So it could be like an opener situation or a bullpen day. So we'll keep an eye out for that. I'm sure we'll know by the time I record on Tuesday. We'll know who's going to be starting on Wednesday. Let's see how Houston is doing. Again, I should be more prepared. I am so sorry, guys. Today has just been a day. It's been a weekend. Astros are 20-19. They're +21 run differential. They've been 13-8 at home, so we'll see what they're able to do. And the Royals, have had their struggles on the road. They're 8-11. The run differential is only +6. And despite all of this hot stretch, they're still 2.5 back. They're tied with Cleveland for second place. Detroit lost last 2 days. Cleveland lost last 2 days, and so did the Royals. So they didn't lose any ground despite this. So if you want one, find silver lining here, they didn't lose any ground here. So they're still going to be able to find a way. And we'll see what they're able to do against Houston and bounce back. And it's another team that's going to be fighting for wild card that you need to own the tiebreaker over. They own the tiebreaker over Baltimore, who looks like they might be done. They're in last place, but you never know. But Houston might be in that boat. They took the first series against them. So we'll see if they're able to do the same thing, go 4-2, and you own that tiebreaker, now until the end of the year if it gets close. So we'll see what happens here. And obviously a tough weekend, but this team has been resilient. They'll bounce back. We know how this team's mindset is. We saw it last year. We've seen it again this year. It's the same deal. I'm not freaking out, not raising alarm bells. Obviously just a tough week, and it is what it is. We'll see what they're able to do after that. I'm in a toast game to Michael Lorenzen, 7 shutout innings on Friday night, and Freddie Fermin, awesome electric walk-off. Basically just the game on Friday. I know that pitcher's duels are not sexy. They're not great. I still enjoy them as a purist, classic baseball fan. So cheers to them. Cheers to you guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight. If you are live on YouTube, I will talk to you guys on Thursday live, but I will see you. You guys will hear from me. Look for that Wednesday morning for that episode to go out, talking about the first 2 games of this series, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys very much, and we'll talk soon.